This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
I'm going to do things my way, innit? If Wilder works, we're going to make it happen. If Wilder isn't the right opponent for next year, then we'll put it back on into 2019. I'm going to take fights at the right time for me. Yeah, if it's next year or the year after or the year after, when I fight him, I'll be in a position to beat.
It's too early for Wilder to fight Joshua, really, but I would like to see it happening in 2 years' time, when they're both huge and we're talking about $1 billion income and not $100 million income.
We had an email last night from Deontay Wilder offering us $50 million apparently, and I just written back and said, look, obviously we'd be very interested in that offer, but we need to see quite a few things. Proof of funds will be nice.
We're not asking to see proof of funds.
They made us a very good offer. Some of the points in that offer were good, some were acceptable, some were unacceptable, but the basic response from AJ, Rob McCracken, fight of this magnitude, of this history, should take place in the UK.
Welcome back to Keep It Real Boxing. This is Cypherbox, and I'm just reading this article which obviously came out yesterday, where the WBO are now ordering Anthony Joshua to make a mandatory defense of his WBO title after he defends his crown against Povetkin on September 22nd. And this is what the article has to say. The WBO hasn't appointed a mandatory challenger for its heavyweight title. That hasn't stopped the sanctioning organisation from informing Anthony Joshua that he'll have to make a mandatory defence of that championship within 180 days of his September 22nd fight against Alexander Povetkin. Assuming the heavy favourite Joshua wins that bout at London's Wembley Stadium, Sky Sports reported Thursday that the WBA hasn't determined whether it'll first order an elimination match to establish the mandatory challenger for Joshua's title. Povetkin is ranked number 1 in the WBO's heavyweight rankings, but the Russian veteran is the WBA's mandatory challenger and won't fulfill the WBO mandatory obligation. Dillian Whyte, who badly wants a rematch with Joshua, is the WBO's number 2 ranked heavyweight contender. And they went on to say, there's a quote here as well from the WBO: "Be advised that at this time the WBO has yet to determine if a WBO heavyweight elimination contest will be ordered." Further, the involvement of our WBO international heavyweight champion Mr. Dillian Whyte in a WBO heavyweight elimination bout is uncertain. What did I tell you? You can't tell me I have been wrong. I've had so many people jump on my videos in the past, and I've been saying that it's going to play out like this for a long time now, guys. From the beginning of this year I've actually been saying this, that Anthony Joshua will not fight Deontay Wilder this year. That came true. He's fighting Povetkin instead. I thought it might have even been Jermell, but it's ended up being Povetkin. And then I said also in previous videos months ago and recently that in April we won't see that fight either, right? Because they want the Dillian Whyte fight next. Yeah, anyone but Deontay Wilder. Yeah, I played you a clip at the beginning of this video where Anthony Joshua was going on about, I'll take that fight when it's right for me. Basically, if it's next year or the year after, or even the year after, I'm going to take fights when they're right for me. Yeah, and it's playing out exactly like that. You heard Barry Hearn at the beginning of the video as well. I would rather the fight happen in 2 years from now. Do you know what I mean? It's like, look, this isn't a coincidence. This is not a coincidence that this has happened. Okay? This is another way, yeah? This is another way and another excuse for Team AJ to use and say, oh, well, they called a mandatory, and, we've got to obligate our mandatory defenses, otherwise we'll lose a belt. It's too much of a coincidence now. in my opinion. I said this is how it's going to play out. And from the sounds of it, Anthony Joshua was telling you back in October 2017, when he did that interview, that this is exactly how it's going to play out. And look what we've got. We've got no Wilder fight this year. We clearly got no Wilder fight in April. Yeah, I doubt there'll be a Wilder fight at the end of 2019. And we'll probably won't see the fight if it happens till 2020. You know, you can't. I don't know why people keep denying this or why people keep trying to fight it. I've done so many videos. I'm not going to repeat myself now. I've rebutted all excuses. I've countered every single excuse that people have come up for to protect Anthony Joshua and Eddie Hearn and Barry Hearn and Rob McCracken. Yeah, go and look at those videos. Go listen to those videos. I've provided facts, articles, interviews, sound clips, countering all this nonsense. If after this, yeah, people are still saying that Deontay Wilder is the one who's scared, Deontay Wilder is the one that doesn't want this fight, yeah, do you know what? What else can we say to you? You're clearly just in denial, in my opinion. Yeah, funny enough, you know, they were talking about Dillian Whyte and Anthony Joshua before the Joseph Parker fight. They've been talking about it for a while. The whole reason they want Dillian Whyte to fight Deontay Wilder is they're hoping Dillian Whyte could get that WBC belt, and then they can have an undisputed heavyweight championship of the world at domestic level in the UK. And that also means that Eddie Hearn controls both the fighters involved that fight, which means he gets all the money and the profits out of it. Well, obviously AJ, the fighters, will get their cut as so will Sky Sports, and not only that, I'm sure they'll probably stick it on the Zone as well for the US viewership. But it's getting to that point where it's just too obvious now. Yeah, in my opinion, you know full well Eddie Hearn's turned around and had a chat with the WBO, sorry. You know, we know the WBA protected Anthony Joshua. I've done videos on that. I'm sorry, I don't care. All of you guys could jump on his channel calling me an idiot, calling me names, calling me all this sort of stuff. I don't care anymore. Because go back and look at my videos. Go listen to those videos and look at the facts that I've presented to you. AJ don't want this fight. He wants this fight when it's suited to him. And he has already stated to you, as I played at the beginning of this video, that sound clip, that he doesn't want this fight till at least 2020 or some point at, you know, in a couple of years from now. He don't want it now. He may never want it. We don't know. Maybe they're just hoping that Deontay Wilder will lose. But let's not forget, you know, who cares about this fight now? Because after what happened today, we saw Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury hype a fight perfectly. That's what you're supposed to do. You want to get people interested. You want to give people their money's worth. If Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder in the US is going to be a pay-per-view fight, you need to give people their money's worth. You need to give them a good build-up. We want to see some trash talking. I love all that stuff. And now, that's all everyone's talking about. No one's talking about Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder anymore. Because now we've got a big fight coming up, definitely. If Tyson Fury gets past his opponent this weekend on Saturday, we've got Deontay Wilder defending his WBC title of the world against Tyson Fury. I mean, who's talking about Anthony Joshua versus Povetkin right now? No one. There's no interest. I'm sure people will probably tune in and watch the fight, yeah, but no one's really talking about it. All the talk is about Wilder versus Fury. That potential matchup that we're going to see at the end of this year. It's taken the spotlight completely off Anthony Joshua, in my opinion. That's what everyone's talking about right now. I mean, look at Anthony Joshua's ticket sales for Povetkin. I went on there the other week, and there was still 5% left to sell. What happened to Anthony Joshua's fight selling out in 10 minutes? Like they did in the past. They're not selling out in 10 minutes now. That is probably the true reflection of Anthony Joshua's selling power. What we're seeing with Alexander Povetkin right now. Let's be honest. Yeah, I'm going to link an article in the description of the video, which came out weeks ago, and because I haven't had time to do videos, I didn't have a chance to talk about it. But in that video, in that article, it talks about how StubHub have been banned from certain arenas here in London by AEG because of the massive markup prices that they've been putting up on tickets that they're purchasing for resale on the secondary market. Yeah, AEG has now put it in place that you can only sell those tickets with a 10% increase. So if I bought Anthony Joshua ticket now for Povetkin and I wanted to sell it on the secondary market, I could only mark it up by 10%, which means ticket touts and StubHub, you know, Ticketmaster, whoever, can no longer go and buy these tickets up, put them on the secondary market and sell them at ridiculously high prices. So like buying a £100 ticket and then putting it on the secondary market for £400. They can't do that anymore. You know? And Frank Warren has been talking about this for a long time. He's been talking about it. He's been pointing it out. He's been pointing out saying, explain to me how Anthony Joshua tickets sell out in 10 minutes and there's no tickets left, but then a day later you see him on the secondary market again. Why? Is that because StubHub have been going up there and buying up the tickets and putting them on the secondary market and then overpricing the tickets and ripping off the boxing fan? I'll let you guys decide that one. Remember what they said, there's no smoke without fire. And there's plenty of smoke when it comes to that topic, in my opinion. And I'll leave the article in the link of the description, as I always do, for you guys to read for yourself. But the way AJ's tickets with the AJ Povetkin fight tickets have been selling at the moment, the rate of sale on them, that's probably a true reflection of how Anthony Joshua actually sells as a fighter. And that's not me hating on AJ. That's me giving it to you, you know, real. Keeping it real with you lot. That's a true reflection. Clearly Anthony Joshua doesn't sell out in 10 minutes. You know, certain fights may, don't get me wrong, but against an average Joe like an average name, I suppose, yeah, because I don't want to be disrespectful to Povetkin. He is a good fighter, yeah, we know that. But in terms of his name in boxing, in terms of how many people actually know him, like in terms of the casual fans and stuff, hardly anyone would know who he is. If you're not a real hardcore boxing fan, you're not going to know who Povetkin really is, let's be honest. But before, he was selling out stadiums with the likes of Brazil and Carlos Molina and all these people in 10 minutes. So why is he not selling out with Povetkin, who's probably a bigger name in the heavyweight division than those previous names that we're talking about? Why is he not sold out with Povetkin in 10 minutes? You know, it just says everything. But let's get back to what happened today in Belfast. Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury. Great to see. I love all of that. I love trash talking. Yeah, some people might say, oh, it's a bit WWE. Who cares? That's what you want to see. That's what you're paying to see. Entertainment. You know, none of this, you know, Fury saying, oh no, don't come into my weigh-in. Don't come into the ring. You know, I don't want to bring in all that hype. Unless the fight's signed, I don't want him getting into the ring. The deal is done, but they haven't signed the contracts yet because obviously Tyson Fury has to get past Pianeta this Saturday. But there was none of that. There was none of this, oh no, I don't want him in the ring. No, he's like, yeah, get in the ring. If I win on Saturday night, you get in the ring, let's talk, and then we'll get in each other's faces. You know, it's just... Look, end of the day, what happened today I thought was great. Yeah, that's how you build a fight. That's how you hype a fight. That's what people want to see. They want to see entertainment. And look how the crowd responded in Belfast to it. They absolutely loved it up. Deontay Wilder, apparently Deontay Wilder, according to Eddie Hearn, isn't known in the UK. Well, for someone who's not known in the UK, he sure got a lot of love. He got a lot of acknowledgement. All these crowds massing around him, wanting to take pictures with him, wanting his autograph. Says it all, really, doesn't it? That Deontay Wilder is a name in the sport of boxing. And Deontay Wilder does sell. You know, what makes it worse is that this fight, if this fight between Wilder and Fury happens, which I hope it does, if this fight happens, yeah, this, and say Deontay Wilder wins that fight, or even if Tyson Fury wins the fight, it doesn't matter which one of the guys win the fight, it puts them into a better power position and a better power play in terms of negotiating with Anthony Joshua, because the two of these guys will make, if they hype this fight, it will sell, and out in the States it will make a lot of money. You know, even if they both just walk away with, like, Tyson walks away with 25 mil, or Wilder walks away with 30 or 40 million at the end of the fight, or whatever, 20 million, whatever it might be, it puts them in a position saying, now that's my biggest payday. And that means Eddie Hearn now will have to pay even more money to fight either one of those guys, if that makes sense. He won't be able to come back and say, oh no, I'm going to offer you 12.5 million, I'm going to offer you 15 million. No. You're going to have to pay some big bucks to get either one of those guys in the ring with Anthony Joshua. I'm hearing it might be a 2-fight deal between Wilder and Fury as well. I'm not too sure about that. Hold me to that, sorry, I mean. But look, this is backfired on Eddie Hearn, in my opinion, massively. He could have made the fight with Deontay Wilder for $15 million and got the fight done in September. But now he didn't do that. Now Wilder's like, all right, me and Fury will get it on. We'll make some money. And when it comes down to it, if I beat Fury, you're going to have to offer me a hell of a lot more money. It's a smart move. It's a very smart move from, an intelligent move from Deontay Wilder. And not only that, from Tyson Fury as well. Because their values increase even more by fighting one another. No matter who the winner is, their value is going to increase massively. And Eddie Hearn's going to have to pay some serious cash out to make the fight with Anthony Joshua. And like I said, I don't want to hear the excuses. All the, oh, Wilder lost his pen, Wilder didn't sign the contract, blah, blah, blah. I've countered all those excuses in my previous videos. Go watch them. You can jump on here and make all the excuses as much as you want. Guess what? I don't care, because I've already countered all the excuses that people have been making for Anthony Joshua and Eddie Hearn. I've done that already. I'm also hearing a lot of this new narrative. You know, people trying to downplay Tyson Fury's victory against Vladimir Klitschko. Eddie Hearn has been anyway. Oh God, that was awful, wasn't it? It was an awful performance. That's not what you were saying. And I'm going to link the videos from when Tyson Fury beat Vladimir Klitschko of Eddie Hearn and his thoughts on Tyson Fury's victory over Vladimir Klitschko. And then I'm going to link you also what he said recently, which is, oh, it was an awful performance. It was, oh God, it was a dreadful fight, wasn't it? But you weren't saying that a couple of years ago, sorry. When it happened, you were saying what a fantastic performance it was. It's great for the heavyweight division. Tyson Fury's opened up the division again for us, for everyone. You know? Saying, you know, this Eddie Hearn, Tony Bellew saying, oh, you know, Tyson Fury, you know, is Pianetta really the kind of fight you want to have going into a fight with Deontay Wilder, blah, blah, blah. Tyson Fury won't be the same fighter, and all this sort of excuses. But really? Because you guys didn't have a problem putting Anthony Joshua in the ring with a Vladimir Klitschko who was coming off an 18-month layoff. And his last fight was his defeat to Tyson Fury. You honestly telling me he was the same Vladimir Klitschko that stepped into the ring that night against Anthony Joshua? No. So don't try that excuse with me as well. Because no one had a problem with Anthony Joshua stepping into the ring with a Vladimir Klitschko who was coming off an 18-month layoff. Listen, I could tell you this right now. Yeah, after what happened today, Tyson Fury will be motivated. Absolutely, he'll be highly motivated. Because that's the kind of guy he is. That's the kind of fighter he is. He wants that kind of hype. He wants his opponent getting in his face. You know, he wants to feel like there's a challenge in front of him and he's got a point to prove to the world. He likes that because that's what brings the best out of Tyson Fury. And if he gets past Pianetta, or whatever his name is, he'll be able to it will motivate him to the point where he's going to train hard. He's going to focus himself, and he'll give it his all when he steps in the ring with Deontay Wilder. It will bring the best out of him. Tyson's trainer Ben Davison said the same thing. He said, you know, the fight against Schaefer, the comeback fight, you know, the tune-up that you had the other month. He goes, the reason Tyson, you know, he was clowning around and doing all the stuff he was because there was no threat there. He goes, Pianetta will give him a bit more threat because he's a more physical presence in the ring. But yeah, you know, Tyson's expected to win that fight. And what's happened with Deontay Wilder today, all the trash talking, the entertainment we've seen today, the guys getting each other's faces, that's going to motivate Tyson Fury even more. And we know a motivated Tyson Fury is a dangerous Tyson Fury, and it makes for a tough fight for Deontay Wilder. So I'm tired of hearing all these attempts to downplay Tyson Fury's victory against Vladimir Klitschko. I'm tired of everyone trying to derail and downplay this potential fight between Wilder and Fury. All the noise we're hearing out of Eddie Hearn and his camp and his team. The only reason you do that is because you're worried. You're worried if that fight happens, that whoever is the winner out of that fight has more playing power when it comes to negotiations with Anthony Joshua. That's why you're saying that. That's why you're trying to downplay it. That's why Tony Bellew is trying to downplay it. He's part of that matchroom camp. Like I said, you're not going to fool me, man. I can see these tricks, these games coming from a mile off. You know, and people could jump on, like I said, people could jump on here and say whatever you want. You could disagree with me, you can hate me, whatever, I don't care. This is Keep It Real Boxing, and this is exactly what I'm going to do. I'll keep it real with you. Whether you agree with that or not, I don't care. I present facts. You go and look at my videos about Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder. They're all based on facts. Not hearsay, not assumptions, facts. Anyway, that's all I had to say on this one. You know, good luck to Tyson Fury tomorrow night. You know, hopefully he gets past Pianetta. He should get past him. You know, the last thing he wants to do, obviously with all the hypes that happened today, he wants to calm it back down and refocus himself on the guy he's got to fight tomorrow night. Get through that, boom. We've got a great fight at the end of the year, the biggest fight. Yeah, Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury. You know, big smile on my face, because you know what? That's what we want to see. We want to see these top guys go up against one another. Why wouldn't you? Yeah, and anyone who's against this fight, yeah, you truly cannot be a real boxing fan if you don't want to see this fight. Simple as that. That's just my take on it, my opinion. As always, guys, like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, this is Cypherbox, reminding you to keep it real.